All right. So Dennis asked about AI agents as a topic to build a roadmap around, and I went ahead and had a look at ModularMind, which I think this is about. One thing I've noticed is that your landing page or homepage is a subdomain, which I think is quite weird. I saw that the app lives under modularmind.app. I would probably have that be the homepage, landing page, and then slash app or app.modularmind. Like I would make the app a subdomain, but that's just me. I think that has some advantages, but that's not really about the roadmap. So that's I looked at AI agents themselves. I looked at use cases for AI agents. There's not that much. I think it's because it's probably quite a new topic. So there's maybe a lot of room to grow for you. I would wonder if people are really looking for AI agents as the kind of term that seems very technical, but you can see it does have some search volume around it. Otherwise, I would say people are more looking for automating workflows, right? So AI agents are a certain type of AI workflow, right? It's just chaining different things together, different workers that are somewhat autonomous. So I guess that is automation in the widest sense. So looking at AI automation, workflows, businesses, SMBs, right? So these are all, and I think AI agents was for real estate and marketing. So there's probably more, but I think what you should be looking, what you could be looking into, because your website is very flat in terms of bottom of the funnel content, right? I think bottom of the funnel being like solutions pages. So like, okay, picking a couple personas, maybe you already have some users and you know what they're doing, you know what kind of workflows they're building, and then using those to make someone, kind of feel more at home. I guess you're doing research, so maybe look into AI research automation or something, right? Which is like more narrow than AI agents, or AI agents for researchers, for example, right? And so you could have pages, you would most likely see somewhere up here where you cater to certain use cases, to certain personas, where it's like industries or for, you've seen that before, you kind of bottom of the funnel pages where it's like, let me find a good example. GPT for Teams, maybe. Oh. All right, ChatGPT team. All right, where you have view. No, where is that? All right, writing coach, use cases, right? So it's like marketing, research. That would be a use case. So it's like, how can people that do research use your tool to do that, and what are kind of workflows that are popular. And I think you should also offer kind of templates. So it's basically like, hey, if you are this kind of researcher, your workflow probably looks like this. I don't know, scrape a research journal. I don't even know if that's possible because they're usually behind paywall, but it was just a thought exercise here. I scrape a journal and then I summarize the points, and then I create a graph that is like, representing data that I find in the analysis or something in the journal. So that is like an example workflow where someone that is a researcher, they'll be like, hey, yeah, this is what I do like twice a day or something, or like once a day or whatever, right? So then that gives people a landing hub where they feel immediately at home, rather than this being like somewhat generic, right? So people need to think a lot about, okay, what can I do with this? And unless they already have thought about that, they will be, yeah, this is too much work, right? So then they're like, yeah, okay, never mind. Like they just don't, start using it because they're too lazy. I mean, people are just lazy. That's just how it is, right? We'll have a certain percentage that will do it, but the easier you can make it for the kind of target personas that you have to get started, the better, right? So that is something that, for example, Zapier has done really well. That's also something maybe you could leverage. That's more programmatic SEO approach, where it's like Google Doc to Excel, or I don't know, or whatever, right? And then Zapier, they will have these programmatic pages. I guess this is not a good sheets, right? So then they have like, you know, this is a guide, I think, but basically they have a lot of solutions. Also here by use case, right? This is very common for B2B SaaS, right? Or company size or whatever. As I was saying, for researchers. And then they have examples. Where are there? Resources. They've done a good job at, like, you know, combining pages for different integrations where they have categories, right? Let's say productivity. Page. Let's look at Zapier. So basically these pages, they're all programmatic SEO, like programmatically created by combining, you know, the thing that people are looking for. So they can build really catered landing pages for certain workflows. And I think that's also something you could use, right? Where it's like GPT, then this thing, and then this other thing, and then that is your template basically, right? So people can just press here, you know, and they save a lot of time because they don't have to think about how do I do that. It's just already there, and then I just need to plug in my credentials. Like I just need to connect to make it work. And each of these pages is like programmatically created, right? By using all those different permutations. So they probably have to find somewhere where it's like, okay, Google Sheets works with these 25,000 integrations or whatever, you know, and then maybe they keep score of how many times it's being created to rank them and say like, these are the most popular, these are blah, blah. So that all lives in the data source, and then they create landing pages based off of that. That could be more like a long-term strategy. I think maybe you don't have enough templates now, but maybe you can just cater to certain, you know, pick one or two personas, and then, you know, expand that over time. And that could be a good way to kind of lay the groundwork so that you just have that somewhere, because that is basically, you know, if you're looking for competitors, now I think Zapier or other no-code automation tools are a good benchmark for you, because like I said, AI agents are just a certain type of automation, right? It's just AI buzzword slapped on top of these automations which already exist, and it's already like a mature space. So in terms of content, you could look at exactly the same, just that you take it one step further, right? It's not like, okay, you still have these tools, it's just like these agents do a lot of the work for you, and you don't, you know, it's one layer more convenient basically. All right, man, let me know if that's helpful, and have a look at the roadmap. And I think I also put virtual assistants on here for, these are actually VAs, but this is actually something you would be replacing, right? That's like an alternative to using AI agents as virtual assistants. So there's also a lot to learn in terms of what people are looking for when it comes to virtual assistants, you know, what kind of workflows they want to create and stuff like that. You know, a lot of it would be data crunching, emails, report generation, things like that. So that's something that people are looking for, and it's always good to look at competitors, but also alternatives. You know, alternative also being do the work yourself, right? That's the classic alternative, or not do the work at all. That's another classic alternative. So yeah, let me know if any of that stuff's interesting. I'll see you later. Cheers.